Hey, 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 I'm in the studio. Hey, listen, everybody, thank you for joining me. I'm still here in the studio. I'm doing like a unload of all of this content that I have. I'm telling people I have content that can last like a year. And so there's so many pieces of footage that I capture in my travels. And so it's a lot of this footage is just like good footage, really good footage. So this right here, I want anybody who's watching, whether you're a part of African diaspora, just people who are interested in having conversations that are probably not had a whole lot. But what I want you to understand is that with one of the journeys that you'll see many people who are in America battle is when it comes to going to Africa. They'll go all over the world, and I'm intentional about speaking about Africa um, monolithically. And there are a couple of things that wow, just something just popped into my mind. We'll go to Asia, we'll go to Europe, we'll go to Australia, we'll go to South America, we'll go to the Caribbean, we'll go to Mexico, we'll go to anywhere else other than Africa. And that's because for most of us, it's based upon what we have been told. And so the question I often ask is in the previous talk, who told you? Who told you that Africans sold their brothers and sisters into slavery? Who told you that? Or are we now putting that in a modern context in our own mind and looking at based upon skin color and based upon seeing it how we see it, we say that's our brother or sister. When in actuality, that might not have been their context. That might not have been their narrative. But again, until someone points it out to us that times were different then, and that this whole idea of skin color, black and white, was something that somebody made up, and so much to the point where we even identify that particular way, which again, most of us didn't even consider. So all of this I think about, and I think about the angst that a lot of people have when it comes to going to different parts of Africa, the fear. I mean, I'm in tourism. I bring people on tours, and you would be amazed at the level of fear and anxiety that they project based upon what they were told. And it's like those who they already know. Well, there's nothing really to fear. Nothing more to fear. I mean, as a matter of fact, you will talk to countless people who say how much peace they have in different parts of Africa versus what they experience in America. But for someone whose mind has been told its own narrative and they're not willing to step outside of that, or even for those who are willing to step outside of it, they have to go through that transitional period. I get it. I've been there. I know what I went through, how terrified I was because of what people told me. But here's what's interesting. When I went to the continent of Africa, and I encourage you to watch my previous talk on who told you to, because I know sometimes I try not to belabor the point on a second video or follow up video. So please, I exhausted it on the previous discussion. But one of the things that fascinated me when I first went to Africa in 2018, and now here 17 countries later, dual citizenship in Sierra Leone, been to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, taken by the time this year is over 500 people to the continent, different parts of Africa. What always fascinated me is how the people who were in control of the narrative, meaning the curriculums, the history books, the systems, and all of that, I found that they were all over Africa and quite comfortable in Africa, whether it be Tanzania, Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, Egypt, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, wherever, Senegal, very, very comfortable. But the people who have considerable DNA that descends from there instinctively avoid it and gravitate towards European interests. Quick to be in Paris, quick to be in Greece, quick to be in London, Lisbon, Madrid, Frankfurt, Amsterdam. I could go on and on and on and on. Brussels. But when it came to Africa, they would opt to go to Lagos, Portugal, instead of Lagos, Nigeria, based on what they were told. A lot of people didn't know there was a Lagos, Portugal. and the Portuguese getting in there first. Anyway, that's a whole other history lesson. But I want you to see some of the comfort others enjoy on the continent, and then why it could be beneficial. Well, one, why it's beneficial for you to visit, but then why others might not want you to visit. So take a look. All right, this is at the Art Center in Accra, Ghana. And it looks like a group of gentlemen. I'm not sure if they're from Europe or America, Australia, but very, very comfortable. Not an ounce of fear expressed. Learning the traditional traditional drumming and all of that. It's amazing how many people come from the UK and America. They learn some of the indigenous languages like Chui in Ghana, but many people who are so-called African American or Black American have no interest and have no exposure to the language. And if you understand how history worked and what the colonizer and imperialists did, was if you destroy the language and you keep people from communicating, then that is a great way to now impose your language. And if they speak your language, then you control the narrative, you control the system, you control all the different things. And that's one of the reasons why you'll see so many people coming from these different countries very comfortable, because they know that the people in many parts of Africa have been, I don't want to say domesticated, but docilated. I'm making up a word here. But when it pertains to white people, many people in Africa actually see them as saviors, actually see them as people come to rescue them, actually put them on a pedestal instead of seeing them as equals. And it's not that you go around hating someone of a different ethnicity, but what you begin to see is where, and this is, I've seen this, my accent will get me either overcharged or get me a favor because of how I speak the English language, or because of how many Black Americans have been perceived in a celebrity status based on television and all of that. But again, when you sit and you look at this and you say to yourself, wow, they're not afraid. As a matter of fact, many of them will vacation in all throughout the continent of Africa. But those who descend from Africa, who are part of the African diaspora, have never even been. It's never even crossed their mind. It's not even a part of their plan. They get upset and they get hostile when you sit and ask, hey, well, if you consider going to Africa, I'm not going to Africa. I'm not going to Africa. I'm not going. I don't want to go. I'm not African. I don't want to go to Africa. I don't want to go to Africa. You're not going to make me go to Africa. You're not going to shame me into going to Africa. What do you mean you're not going to shame me? You're not going to shame me into going to Africa. I don't want to go to Africa. I don't care to go to Africa. Don't want to go to Africa. Don't. Never going to Africa. I mean, there are a lot of people who have that kind of energy, and they probably don't need to go to Africa. But it's sad because they're going based on what someone told them 9 times out of 10. I'm not saying everybody's experience is going to be perfection or whatever it is when they go to Africa. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that 54 countries, thousands of ethnic groups. And you have to wonder to yourself, so many people who descend from there either don't want to descend from there, don't want any association. And why is that? Because that's where the wealth is. See, the thing is, when you take a raw material and you can take it, whether it's dirt, whether it's gold, copper, uranium, bauxite, tanzanite, cocoa, oil, diamonds, whatever, people, but let's just use the raw materials as an example. If you can take that and produce it, so you get it dirt cheap, literally, take it out of the country, mass produce it, sell it back to the people that it came from. If you can do that, that's brilliant, because you get pennies on the dollar or whatever, pennies on the cedi, pennies on the shilling, pennies on the rand, whatever. You take that And you can sell it around the world. You can do whatever you want to do with it. That's the wealth. You don't want people knowing about that. So what you do is you take a group of people away, say, oh, that's bad. Don't go. You do it subliminally through culture and entertainment and through social pressures and all of that. You control the education. The people don't even question it. They go with it. They say, oh, no, no, no. I was told, I read in the book, so-and-so said, this person said. And then if you, especially if you put European and white standards as a superior standards, then the people will say, yeah, well, no, I don't need to go over there. They're witchcraft. So that's the first thing you do. Get the religion in there demonizing the people. So you're like, oh, no, you're the devil. Stay away. Oh, God, oh, stay away. You're the devil. Now, I'm not saying that some things don't happen, but the same things happen in America. If there's going to be a negative aspect to witchcraft or whatever you want to call it, then that's going to be all over the world. It's not just going to be in Africa. You got to stop and think to yourself, why is it only in Africa that's supposed to have all the problems? What them people do? Oh, Lord. The same people that I was telling somebody, I was talking to Leslie Jones, and we were talking about how, for years I'd heard the people talking about the hurricanes along the, they said, well, the hurricanes form off the coast of West Africa because the ancestors are mad. And the ancestors are mad, and they use those hurricanes, and they slam up against the southeastern coast of the United States, and that's where the majority of slaves came in, and that's why they're mad as hell, and they're going to get in there, and they're going to wreck shop, and that's what they're going to do to avenge what happened on them boats. For years, that sounds good, because, again, that's an exploitation of knowledge. And so, but when you start to think about it, it really doesn't make sense. Why would the ancestors want to send the hurricanes to destroy where their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren are now residing and already dealing with tough conditions? Why would they want to send the hurricanes on their own children? Someone said, well, now, here's interesting. I went down to Brazil. And when I went down to Brazil, you want to know what I saw? Well, let me tell you first. It's reported that the majority went to Brazil. And if we just going to go with the same, educational, the majority went to Brazil. Salvador in particular, that area. I went to Salvador. And in recorded history, it appears to have only been like one major storm like that has ever hit that particular area of the world. But you had almost 5 million or so. Obviously, the counts, nobody has 100% accurate counts on it, but the majority went to that part of Brazil. So why aren't the ancestors sending hurricanes there? Better yet, why aren't the ancestors sending hurricanes up into Europe, slamming them right up in the Portugal, especially Portugal? And the UK sitting out there in the ocean and so just go slam it. If it's avenging, why is it now going to the United States to do this and slamming up into Haiti? Haiti had almost as many as Brazil, so why is it slamming into Haiti where all of those descendants are in the Dominican, was Espanol or something like that? So it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. But if you hear these stories and you believe these stories, and somebody said, well, the reason why it's coming into the United States is because Brazil preserved so much of the original culture and history. And when you understand how hardcore the European Brazilian government is on those of darker complexion, Afro-Brazilians, if you understand that just blows that out of the water. It's just as bad as the United States. It doesn't get reported the same way. But when I was walking around Salvador, I saw people who looked just like me. Just like we could pass for brothers. Now, I'm of Spanish-Portuguese descent. But even with that, looking and seeing and being a part of that culture, I was like, wow, the only difference was language. Only difference was language. They spoke Portuguese, I speak English. I want everybody to understand that if you hide the truth from people, then you can continue to build your empire without them even being a threat because their minds are already conditioned to stay away. Their minds are conditioned to fight over peanuts and crumbs and not even see where the real access is and understanding. Now, for me, I'm a bicontinental person. I do not live in Africa, and so I spend part of my time there. Spend part of my time. There's a larger piece to what I'm doing. And the timing in my life is right to where I can do it. I have the flexibility to do it, the ability to do it, and so that's what you see happening. But I'm not. For me, I'm not escaping America because I have people who bled and died for me to have the ability to travel and to see the world. And I'm not going to dishonor their sacrifice for the sake of staying on the American plantation, feeling as though I'm doing them a service because I'm staying there. As a matter of fact, what if I can honor my ancestors in Africa and honor my ancestors in America by maximizing who I can become by the benefit of my genetics that link to both places? So or maybe my genetics that link to where they link to in Africa, but then my birthright that comes from America. Why can't I be that strategic? Why do I have to be put in a box and limit myself, based upon what somebody else's limitations are? And that's what I tell you when people come in the comments, this is what it is, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. Oh, you do what you do. You stay there if that's what works for you. But I can be there, and I can bridge a gap and where both teams win. Now, that's me, and that's what I'm doing, and that's just the way that it is. And there are other people who wish that they could see that example, and the reason why I'm so intentional and so forceful about it is because other people need to see it. There have been so many narratives over the course of history where people don't have examples of people showing them how it can be done. So because they don't see how it can be done, they assume there's only one way that can be done. They assume what they've been told is accurate. But then when you go back and you look and you see, oh my, Jim Bob and the boys, they're over there having a great time. Drummity drum, drum, drum. But then we don't even want to go drummity drum, drum, drum. Because somebody told us, them people over there poor and sick and they don't like us. And you go over there and they're not gonna roll out the red carpet for me. They're not gonna treat me. They're not gonna understand my story and understand why all the stuff I done been through over here in America. And they not even gonna do them. Oh God, I don't wanna go there because people they don't like me. They don't like me. And then the reality is they've been through the same thing. The same thing. The same abuses. Same psychological, cultural, and I'm not talking about the people drumming. I'm talking about the people, the natives, been through the same thing. Had the slave plantations, had the people being beaten, had the mind games being played. Same ethnic group divided by British and French, English and French languages. All the same games. But no, they didn't roll out the red carpet for me. They owe me. Africa owed me. Africa owed me. I tell people, I say, let me tell you something. Who told you that? Who told you that? Ghana owed me, just like America owed me, in Ghana and Nigeria, in Central African Republic, in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in Mali, in Burkina, in Niger, in Chad. They all owe me. The Congo owe me. Angola owe me. And Botswana owe me. And Namibia owe me. And South Africa owe me too. Oh Lord, Mozambique owe me. Whenever I hear that, I want to encourage the person to go understand history. Ghana, the country, never existed during slavery. So what does it owe you? Well, them tribes, the Ashanti owe me. The Ashanti owe me. How do you even know the Ashanti even participated in any of your ancestors being sent into slavery? How do you know that? They owe me. Okay, well, But what about the ones who didn't participate in it? So you got a bunch of ethnic groups. So now you mad at the whole country of Ghana based upon what you have been told by someone about one of the ethnic groups? And you got about 50, 60 ethnic groups, and you're one, and you're holding the other 50, 60 guilty. They didn't even have anything to do with it. And then without understanding that Africa was raped, the continent was raped the same way. The same way. You see Black Americans. Well, no, that didn't happen like that because they sold us and all of that. Then okay, all right, let's go with that then. Let's go with that for a second. I'm gonna ride with that. I'm gonna ride that pony. Shout out to my man Genuine. I'm gonna ride that for a second. We can go and say, all right, them Africans sold us into slavery and all of that, and keep it, stay away, because that's why you don't want to go over there, because that's what they did. But then what about all them Negroes who did the same thing in America? Sold out, had plantations, bought, sold, whipped, beat, were worse to those who were enslaved than even the white slave master. What about them and you descend from them? Them your ancestors too. So then help me understand. Those are my ancestors who did that, who sold out right here in America. What about that? So if that's the case, then we need to be mad at ourselves. So the point is that if I'm going to go take these arguments and say I don't want to be bothered with an entire place based upon the actions of some, and that some did participate in it for sure, everybody didn't, then I need to put that same standard on what was happening right here in America with other Black people owning their brothers and sisters for real, and selling them, trading them, beating them, mistreating them. We deal with the same mess right now. You get a Negro in charge and he or she decided they now don't have any authority at home or whatever, and now they want to take it out on everybody who looks just like them. It's an individual problem that gets exploited. Just the same thing that you see with gang warfare, you see the same thing with tribalism. Who you think putting the guns into people's hands so they can kill each other? So, I mean, we got to get a little bit deeper than this broad-based analysis of being upset at a whole continent over the actions of some. Because we can find that same breakdown right here in the good old US of A, where we can find that same thing going on right here. You can find it in your churches. You find it in your families. You'll find it in your schools. You'll find that whole same sellout mentality. And as a matter of fact, it may be even on a greater level, because now it is in black and white, whereas back in those days, it wasn't based on black and white. So that's why I just encourage people to go see for themselves and to educate themselves beyond what they were told. I took it a step further. I showed you, because these folks having a good old time. Jim Bob and them having a good old time. Look at that. You even got a little rhythm. Come on now. Having a good time right there. Boop, 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 boop. We scared to go. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Go on over there and be and see, touch, taste, smell, feel for yourself. Nobody can take that experience from you. All right. I tell you like this, that's how we bridge the gap. We bridge the gap by experiences. We also bridge the gap by having difficult conversations like this. That's the bottom line. Hey, some of y'all out there want to continue to be mad at, for whatever reason. There are others out there who are going to say, you know what, let me think about this a little bit deeper. Those who are serious about educating themselves and decolonizing their mind, they're going to be willing to go a little bit deeper and not just get caught up in what they've been told. And they're going to go partake of the inheritance that they have access to. So they see the glass half full, where the other person sees it as half empty. The other person sees opportunity within the midst of all of that, and they see the benefit of being ethnically, genetically, and culturally diverse to where they can take advantage of different opportunities by way In other words, what the imperialists meant for harm, they're now able to turn that around for their own good and benefit of generations to come. But then you have the person who's sitting on the toilet of despair, sitting over there just pouting and complaining and upset and mad, and really don't even have the capacity to do anything because they're so trapped in their emotions with all of this frustration and anger. They're not going to do anything but just sit there and bark like a dog and don't have any bite because they've been castrated up here. They've been castrated financially. And so all they're going to do is just going to kind of go on this gerbil wheel of constant madness instead of saying, let me take this energy that I have and now utilize it like this. Let me go educate myself so that I can go properly educate others. Let me take all of this information I've been told and piece it together in a puzzle. And as I put this puzzle together, now I can see clearly now, or more clearly, because you'll constantly be learning. And that's what the benefit of pushing past what I was told did in 2018. Everybody told me don't go. Everybody told me all these different things. But I would have missed out on life. And I'd be sitting around trying to figure it out, frustrated. I'd missed out on the experiences I've had in 17 different countries on the continent of Africa. Visited Brazil, never even thought about going to Brazil. Been to Bermuda twice. Yes, that's an Afro place. Looking to go to other places, Colombia, other places, even into Europe, and to be able to see. But I'm not going. You'll never see me stand in front of the Eiffel Tower, which is a symbol of theft. Never see me standing there posing as if it's some sort of great thing. Look at this great thing these French people stole from Algeria, and here I am with my black behind, my African, I don't know what you want to call me behind, standing here lifting up the Eiffel Tower because somebody told me that was class and distinction. Somebody told me that is what I should aspire for. Somebody told me when I take that picture, I'm going to get a bunch of likes. Nah, can't do it. Can't do it. Can't allow myself to get caught in that. And I'm not saying for people who do it, there's anything wrong. I'm just saying because I have the information I have, I now can't stand in front of a symbol of theft from the continent of Africa. And that goes with anything. You're not going to see me in front of the Washington Monument, which is very image is a symbol of theft from Egypt. Just the image, what it is, the obelisks that's built in that image. I'm not going to stand there, yeah, man, Washington Monument, dude. Man, dude, Washington Monument, dude, yeah. Nah, nah, Jack. You're not going to see me in front of the Capitol or the White House. We as black people idolize the White House to the point where, yeah, man, we made it to the White House. Think about that for a second. Now, let's stop and think. To the White House. We can't wait to get to the White House. Now, if we're going to get in there and make some moves and do some things legislatively, culturally, economically, for the African diaspora, well, you got to be the president of all the people. Cool, no problem. We can do that too, but we're going to make sure we look out for our own too. You know, that's what they do when they get in office. So, hey, make sure you look out for your own. If you're going to get, okay, go on up in the White House. But again, for us, so many of us, we aspire. Sadly, many of us are white supremacists, like I said in the video, because we aspire, we elevate whiteness. We put all of this on this pedestal, and instead of really understanding the power that we already have, take collectively the black Americans, and you take $1.6 trillion of economic power and what could be done. But guess what? We don't know it because they told us we're broke. They told us we can't afford it. They have us living on a cheap mindset, a scarcity mindset. And so that leaves the door open to these little peddling preachers out here that can exploit the scarcity mindset, the scarcity, lazy mindset. So all you got to do, run some jokers up in a church, and you take the jokers up in the church, and what they do, they already believing they're broke. They're already, by and large, haven't been trained in financial literacy beyond paying 10% to the church. And then you tell them, you know what, if you give me more money, now you're going to be overflowing, pressed down, shaking together, running over. Your draw's going to be happy. Everything going to be happy. All is going to be happy. And so when you get a bunch of people doing that, then their resources are exploited. Their power is taken away. And now here they are. They're trying to figure this thing out. I see it. I did it 25 years I was in it. I saw it, y'all. I saw it, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm about to do an interview with Leslie Jones. I'm going to break it all the way. I'm going to break it all the way down. And so until we wake up and recognize the power, the economic power we have, that you take a GDP of $1.6 trillion, you're one of the wealthiest countries in the world. But if psychologically you believe you're poor, if psychologically you're penny pinching everything, you're hustling, scratching, and surviving, and all of that, and that's what's the narrative in your mind, then they can come in and colonize your community. They can come into the hood, bring their businesses, and take that money right out of your community. They can come into your uppity, bougie neighborhood and do the same thing, set up their grocery store, set up all these different things. And so, for the grocer, for the person who understands it, maybe this is a spark an idea. Like for me, the way I solve the problem, I create exposure opportunities. I use this platform, I use other platforms to be able to reach people and say, hey, what they're telling you is only part of the story. And if you really want more of the story, then you're going to have to do it yourself. And stop waiting on the education welfare. Stop waiting on the financial welfare. Stop being hopeless. Stop being a victim. Because as long as you do that, you'll always be exploited. And they'll always control you. They'll control your food supply because you're relying on the grocery store. You're waiting on the food stamps to come in instead of learning to go how to grow the food. See, this is the wealth of Africa because guess what? The people there in many parts of Africa, they can go. Now, some of them have that same mentality. They're waiting on the government to come solve their problems because they don't see the land for what it's worth. They don't understand they can grow food all year long. They can do all these different things, but because they're chasing white supremacy, they're chasing white standards. What they have has been told is not good enough. What they've been told is that what they have is dirty. They go and peddle Chinese items on the street because everybody wants to be like the white. Even in the songs, we see what the white people do. We want to do what the white people do. We want to do that because what we have is trash. What we have is not good enough. That I see that constantly in many different places all throughout the continent of Africa, but I also see it in America as well. What we have is not good enough. Our award show is not good enough. We need to get the award from the white people in order to be validated. We need a Grammy. We need an Oscar, and then we're validated. But the other awards are not good enough. That's a mentality. And until we learn to shed that, then we're going to be sitting there scared to go, not wanting to go to where they are because we believe it's better. And as long as you believe somebody else is better than you, all the marching and protesting and everything that you want to call it, whatever y'all want to call it, all of that is in vain. This is when you understand the power of what you have and the beauty of what you have and all of that you can now begin to make that internal difference which will then show up on the outside. All right, y'all. If you dare, hit that subscribe button because we're going to keep dropping knowledge. That's the deal. We're going to keep dropping knowledge and definitely make sure that you catch us on one of our experiences, our Africa travel experiences, because we take people. This is how we're proactive. We take you, we allow you to see for yourself and create these 5 sensory experiences. So check out this experience in Tanzania. Oh, Tanzania. I wanted to see, you know what? Tanzania, let me see, hold on. Oh, no, okay. I thought that was something else. I was going to show you something else. Yeah, I wanted to show you something, but I don't think that is. All right, yeah, no, that's not ready for you yet. What I'll do, I'll pull up, I'll share it in an upcoming video, but right now, we want you to join us in Tanzania. So take a look and visit MaximumImpactTravel.com for details. Talk to you soon. I want to welcome everybody to Tanzania. Now, does everybody know the theme for this trip is to what? Relax and what? Enjoy. So I think everybody can tell we're going to have a good time already.
Apply the heat and the balloon will rise.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Drop line, it was special.
Open up your eyes and see all the wonder mystery of an African adventure with daring and destiny.
The relaxation, the peace that is here, and compared to where I live, it's like, it's amazing.
Oh, the butterflies.
Well, I can't say I come from here, but in my heart, this is it.
beautiful. Being able to see all of the nature, all of the animals, it feels like I'm in a movie.
It was a learning experience just to see, what the country looks like, how beautiful it is, to see that it's not what they show you on TV. It makes me want to see more of Africa, to learn more about Africa.
Home, I had always done a lot of research on different parts of Africa, so I knew that some of the conceptions of Africa were not true.
We've seen it all. You hear me? Birds. We've seen grass. We've seen it all.
It'll change you within. I mean, you need to see it. I mean, you have to come.
What you want?
Well, hello? Hello? Where? Good to see you.
How you feeling?
Last time I saw you was in Ghana. Hello, everybody.
If we can continue to find a way to bridge our differences and, really, really, really come together, come to Africa. A lot of people really want to come here. This trip is not only a trip, but it really is an experience, and it's a learning experience. We've already learned so much just at the table. So I'm excited to be here. I'm glad to be here, and I can't wait to continue to learn and just be with all of y'all.
I quite didn't want to come to Africa, okay? And when I got here, they were so kind. And I like, oh my gracious, then I got to meet you guys, and y'all started telling me about the trip. And I said, okay, this is gonna be fun. So now I'm kind of excited. My wife said, well, you ain't got no excitement, but now I'm looking forward. So, hey, I'm hoping one day I can have the same testimony as you guys, and I'm just glad to be here.
This is our second Maximum Impact experience, and I've been singing your praises, Jay, hands down. If you want to go to Africa, you got to do it with Jay. There's no other way, no other way. And to be honest with you, when Renee, Jeff, James signed up for this, I'm like, we can't let y'all go without us. And so here we are.
It's just the most interesting thing in the world to come to a place such as this. It's beautiful. I mean, this is a beautiful resort. You all seem like very wonderful people. We all have something in common. We're all connected. We all are connected.
This is my second trip with Maximum Impact. I was in Ghana July last year, and I brought my daughters with me. And they had a pretty rough experience because they had a lot of expectations that weren't realistic. But it took them 2 weeks to decompress and then to understand fully the magic that had happened on that trip.
This is my mom, Claudette, and I'm very grateful that she brought me here. This is her first trip with the group, but she's been to Africa like 3 times. And again, I'm very grateful that she brought me here.
This is my second trip, and I'm going to have a third, a fourth, and a fifth. And I tell you, I'm still excited about all the things that I'm experiencing. And you would think I've been to many countries, I traveled a lot, but I've never been to a country where people look like me. Everywhere I went, I always had to fit in. And that, was kind of traumatic for me after coming here and being received the way I was.
I'm just looking forward to the whole itinerary. It looks really, I know it's really well organized, and looking forward to the whole thing. So glad to meet everybody and look forward to meeting in person and talking.
Hi, my name is LaDanya. These are my parents, and I'm really excited to be here. I'm 21 years old, and thank you for hosting this trip and bringing us all here.
Hi, I'm Faith Benson Lettle. These are my parents. I'm from Akron as well. This is my college graduation gift.
I got 18 grandkids and 9 great-grandkids, and all of them want to come. Because I was so excited, thanks to Jay. I walked through the streets of Philadelphia lifting up Africa. You gotta go. I said, if you're Afro-American, you write that down on whatever form, you need to go to Africa.
Travel a lot, and over the last couple years, I really wanted to do a deep discovery of Africa, all the African countries, and I found Jay, and I said, that's the way I want to do it. So we were very, very appreciative.
This is my sister Linda, and the reason I'm here is because Linda spoke so highly of the trip she was on in Ghana. Coming to Africa, I liked it. It's something different. You can connecting with the people here, connecting with the workers here. I like that idea and that approach. So I wanted to come and see for myself.
I remember it was November 2020 when Mr. J. Cameron visited us. It was during COVID pandemic. Imagine, we have 32 rooms, but he was accommodating only one guest, who was J. Cameron. Then J. Cameron told me, I promise you I'll bring you a group. Okay. On behalf of Airport Planet Lodge, we are here to express our sincere gratitude to host you here today.
I can't imagine doing Africa without being on a Maximum Impact tour, because being with a group like this just adds so much more to it.